Hello and welcome to the LRM podcast, sponsored by Adrian Flux Insurance. I'm Martin Dominy.
And I'm Steve Miller.
And you join us for an hour of chat about Land Rovers and everything to do with owning them.
Well, I'm glad I didn't mess that up this time like last week.
No, that was quite good last week.
Still left in.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought...
Yeah.
I spend enough time editing these things as it is. If you want to fluff it, then that's on you, Steve.
It was on me.
No pressure.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No, it was good. Been a busy week, actually.
It has. It's gone by so quickly.
Yeah, it has. We were obviously very, very busy on the run-up to Ripon, which is this Sunday. So if you haven't already got your ticket to Ripon Auto Jumble, head to landrovermonthly.co.uk and pre-order.
Yes, a lot drier than it was in February.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yes,
we obviously had to reschedule it from February because of the inclement weather. But now the sun is out, the ground is dry, and we are all systems go for a fantastic auto jumble this coming Sunday.
I can't wait because I literally cannot wait because I'm going to go Land Rover parts shopping myself.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's on the list?
Loads of things. Loads of all the odds and ends for my Land Rover. And good news, I'm picking up the tub on Friday.
Oh, freshly painted.
Yes.
Excellent. I can't wait to see it with the freshly galvanised cappings on it against that burgundy colour.
Top tip. Never say to a painter, yeah, just use it as an infill job. You know,
when, mate.
No rush. No rush.
Oh,
no rush has gone into quite some time now.
Don't say that to anyone who does anything with cars. Cause...
I think I said that to you. I said, no rush, but can you help me? 3 years later.
Yeah, we've done your... the tub is ready to be fitted now because we've done your brake pipes. Your front to rear brake pipes are on. Your loom is through. That was good fun, wasn't it? We had
that was a bit fun.
Trial and error, but that was good. It's on, so there's nothing stopping the tub going on now.
No, that is going to be picked up on Friday, which I'm really pleased about. But that's fueled me again.
Yeah,
you know, I go in. Yeah, when the sun shines, that's it. It motivates me.
It's going to be a big bit of visual progress, and we're going to get the gang together, aren't we? And we're going to smash out a few days on the Land Rover.
Got a bit of a special couple of days planned, haven't we? So you got Greg King.
Yeah.
Ian Arthur,
yeah,
yourself,
indeed.
Dan at Demand.
Might even rope Dan in,
yeah. I believe that Dan at Demand is coming along. Might have to ask him about my exhaust because how can I possibly fit a milestone exhaust?
Well, let me tell you, Dan was over mine on Monday and he picked up an engine that he bought for me and he brought with him a lovely system for my Tdi-converted 110, which we fitted on my driveway. Oh, I can't tell you. Just
makes such a difference.
You know, you aspire to own possibly certain brands in whatever hobby you're into.
Yes.
Like I really wanted a worn winch for my Series 3 ever since I've owned it. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And it was period correct. And I finally found one. And there's certain things that, like the general tyres, people like BF Goodrich, different brands, suspension brands, whatever. Honestly, Land Rover exhausts do not get better than what Dan does. It is just artwork. The downpipe, I have to put a picture on social media. The downpipe that comes off the turbo. Anyone who's fitted a Discovery TDI engine in a Defender will know that the exhaust downpipe is probably the hardest bit to get right.
Yeah, because mine's a modified old Miles Steel one from Steve Parker. That was part of the kit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so because yours is a 300 though, your exhaust comes off further forward.
Oh,
so it's a little bit less tricky, whereas on a 200 it literally points directly at the passenger side footwell.
Oh, right.
I'll show you in a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the 110 today.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have a look at well, I haven't been in it with the TDI yet.
Thing of beauty.
Yeah.
So the downpipe goes straight into the footwell, basically, and then it has to curve inside the chassis rail. So it's a very complicated shape, to be fair. And the downpipe I got with the engine conversion was a generic homemade one, which looked like it had been at the bottom of the sea for several years. And Dan said, I'm going to start doing downpipes for them because people are still converting them. And sure enough, this thing is just art. It's so nice.
Ah, good.
And the obviously it's a bit bigger diameter as well. So should I wish to bless the pump with the tuning spanner further down the line, we'll be able to get that exhaust gas out a lot quicker.
Nice. So I recall my downpipe would foul on the gearbox crossmember a little bit.
Okay.
And you get that awful vibration.
Does yours have a round crossmember or a flat one? Because
it's been changed. It's now a flat one.
Yeah, so the round cross member made conversions tricky as well.
Yes,
for that
but I
reason.
did put a flat one in, and it still did touch the top.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Right.
But well, we know a man that can. So
yeah, we need to get him over to have a look, and yeah, we're going to really hopefully make a good bit of progress on your 90 next month. Yeah.
Yeah, after LRM Live, isn't it?
Which is a month today. Well, 4 weeks away.
I mean, here's me admitting right now that Land Rover is not going to be at LRM Live.
Yeah,
but,
sadly.
We're busy. But what
you can't rush perfection, Steve.
Yeah, I look at it and think, oh, I need to get my head in gear now because I've got a few things. I need to sort the front wings out. Yeah. And knowing the speed in which I've never been in a rush with a painter, but now I need to speed it up and keep him.
The
painting.
thing is, I mean,
I've only got the front end to paint, really.
The good thing about that is once the rest of it is done, the wings and bumper and front panel bonnet all go on afterwards, so it really doesn't matter that much if you don't get them done till the very
right
end.
At the end, yes.
I've just done. Do you know what? I've been pretty busy probably the last week trying to chip away at all the little jobs that have accumulated that I've sort of been meaning to do and then haven't had time to do and all that stuff. So the Series 3 has a straight face again. I've replaced the wing and bumper.
Have you ever admitted what happened?
So yeah, I think we did speak about the Series 3 gaining a small amount of front end damage on the podcast. I'm sure we did.
Yeah, but if you didn't, you have now.
If you didn't, you have now. And also, you'll see it in the next issue of Land Rover Monthly because I'm going to do a bit of a story about what happened and how I fixed it. But essentially, there was a coming together of my Land Rover and Neil Watterson's Land Rover, and it resulted in my front wing taking a bit of a hit, the Land Rover getting a bit of a wonky eye, and the front bumper getting bananaed in the middle. So thankfully, obviously, new galvanised bumpers are available from Britpart, so I picked one of them up. And the wing side I also got from Britpart, and Ian Arthur was kind enough to pick me up a military wing. So it's all good as new now.
Where did you get the wing from?
I think he found it. It was on Marketplace.
Oh, okay.
So I bought one from...
Yeah, I wonder, because we often see them at the spares days, and I wondered whether...
I did buy one from Malvern, but it was a civilian one, and it looks slightly different. The pressing is a bit different. It doesn't have the holes in the top for the little radio box and stuff. So when Ian said he'd found one for the same price on Marketplace nearby where he lives, he went and got that, and then I sold the Marketplace, the Malvern one.
I get you. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much sorted out. I had a problem with the clutch on that. The cross shaft snapped in half, so no clutch pedal, which was fun. So that was a floor up job to fix that.
You've done it?
Yeah, sorted now.
Oh, well done.
This is what I mean, Steve. I've been powering through stuff, mate. Every spare bit of
and
time.
And you managed to do some brake parts for me.
Yeah.
Which look,
I feel
awesome.
like a bastion of productivity at the moment. So there was that. What else? I've just got lost.
Your TDIs are now done.
TDI's done. Exhaust's on. The injector pump leaked immediately.
Oh, you were doing some surgery at the weekend, I saw.
Oh, yes. So in my infinite wisdom, we were going out to meet some friends on Saturday. We're going over theirs to chill out and see them. We'd catch up with them. And I had this itch to fix the leaking injector pump. And I said to my wife, I'm going to pop outside and do that O-ring now. I should have time before we leave.
And you won't smell of diesel.
Well, my friend's into cars as well, so he wouldn't have been bothered if I turned up smelling of diesel a little bit. But it's so anyone who's familiar with the Bosch VE fuel pump, which is what is on the 200 and 300 TDI, there's what's called the head of the pump at the back, which is where all your injector pipes go off to the injectors.
Okay, yeah.
That's a piece of steel, and the pump body is aluminium. So there's an O-ring basically that seals that head onto the aluminium pump body, and the O-ring goes brittle over time and it leaks, which is what happened to mine. To fix it, you really should take the pump off and take it all apart nicely, change the O-ring, and then put it all back together nicely, and then refit the pump. But given how many times I've had that engine in bits, I really wasn't up for stripping it down again. So basically, there's a lot of springs and little things that can fall out of place if you upset the pump, and I was really biting my nails and wasn't that keen on doing it, but I did want it sorted out. So basically you turn the engine over so that the spring compresses all the bits inside the pump, so that when you remove that head just enough to get to the O-ring, all the bits don't fall out.
How do you know when the spring is compressed?
So in the back of the head on the pump, there's a bung, which you unscrew, you put a drill bit in.
Oh, okay.
And you can turn the engine, and when the drill bit's pushed all the way out, then you know that the pump is what they call on cam.
Oh, interesting.
And the spring's compressed enough to hold all the bits in as you slowly, gradually release the head enough to get to the O-ring. If you do it too much, if you relieve too much pressure and the spring runs out of travel, all the bits fall into the bottom of the pump.
So you'd have to take the pump off then, and which is a job in itself.
Exactly. So it was a bit of a nail biting couple of hours, and I was late going to see our friends, but I did get it done, and it no longer leaks. So
that's the main thing. It's the price of diesel at the moment. You don't want any of it leaking.
Couldn't afford to have it falling out on the floor.
It's like £2 a litre now,
and it was a pretty substantial. It was a pretty constant drip as well. It wasn't just a little weep.
That's not fun, is it?
No. So, managed to do that. Got the head off just enough to see the old O-ring, which was in 2 pieces and very, very brittle. Cleaned out the groove as much as I could. And then the new O-rings, they come in Boona, which I thought was a type of curry, but apparently they make O-rings as well.
A chicken O-ring.
Yeah. That's the original material, but they do more modern material called Viton, which is much stretchier and much more forgiving to sort of people use them on pumps that they run veg oil and waste oil and stuff. They're just a better, higher quality seal than the old Boona one. So I got one of them, and you sort of stretch it over the end of the head of the pump, and you have to use a mirror to make sure it's in the groove properly, gradually tighten the screws back up and draw the head back onto the pump. It's not really the sort of thing you want to do on a time limit.
That's not a DIY job, is it? Not really.
Not if...
Oh, it's not a job for me.
You need to be fairly competent to tackle it, I would say, because otherwise, if it does go wrong, then your car's out of action while you take the pump off, and that obviously means taking the cam belt off and all that stuff. It's a high risk situation.
Yeah.
But so I was chuffed to get that finished. Before, what else has happened?
So what's next for that though? So that's it now.
For the 110.
Yeah.
The only thing I need to do to that now is put the Discovery transfer box in it.
They are really low geared, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So because mine's a 110 with the naturally aspirated diesel, it has a 1.6 ratio transfer box, which is very low.
Is that like flat out 60 miles an hour, run out of steam?
It'll do 60, but you know about it.
Yeah. Mine was like that. Yeah, horrible.
I've got Discovery transfer box, so I just need to pop a couple of seals in that, and then I can fit that, and that 110 is done. I'm doing nothing else to it.
And it's a keeper.
Yeah, it's a keeper. It's a lovely thing to drive. I smiled all the way here.
So you've had an hour in it this morning?
Yeah, an hour this morning.
Yeah.
Where did I take it at the weekend? Drove it around at the weekend as well. It's always a bit nerve-wracking especially when you strip something as far down as doing essentially an engine rebuild, which is kind of what happened after the cam bearing situation. You want to prove that it's sorted so that you have confidence in it and you can jump in it at any moment and go off to, wherever. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just putting enough miles on it to build up confidence in it. But touch wood, I have absolutely no reason to not be have faith in it. So it's great, and it's so nice to drive. It's so easy to forget how nicely a standard Defender drives.
Yeah.
750 tyres, original springs. It's just lovely, even with no power steering.
Most of the Land Rovers that I've driven that are standard, I've enjoyed the most.
Yeah. It's
I have to say.
The Super All Grips, I've got general Super All Grips on it, radials, which look like a fairly chunky mud terrain. They're like an old school mud terrain. They're so nice on the road. They're very quiet. They're very smooth. In a mud terrain, you pull up to traffic lights and stuff, and you can almost feel the individual tread blocks.
You can when you slow to almost to a stop.
Yeah,
and it's like
These are like, they're almost. Yeah, it's very. They feel like they roll smoothly. Do you know what I mean? There's very little rolling resistance. I've yet to try them off road. Obviously, I fitted them on the 110 and then instantly pulled the engine out. So I need to get out and do some green lanes and stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that was good. What else has happened?
You know your 4x4, You've chosen every upgrade, every bolt-on with purpose. So, when it comes to tyres, chunkier, wider, more capable for the conditions, you want the perfect fit. Not just any tyre, your tyre. That's why you'll choose 4x4tyres.co.uk, the wheel and tyre specialists, trusted by Land Rover owners and serious off-roaders alike. Whether you're upsizing, overlanding, making your Defender look the part, or your Discovery turn heads, we'll guide you to the right set. With over 800 fitting locations across the UK, from online to on-road, we've got you covered. Browse by vehicle, wheel size or brand, 4x4tyres.co.uk. The right fit, the right place, the right price.
Cheap Freelander 2 is becoming less and less cheap as time goes on.
Yes, I have heard.
I've bought a cam belt kit. It makes a horrible chattering, rattly, squeaky noise at idle, and I thought it was one of the auxiliary belt tensioners, but it's actually the crankshaft pulley. They have like a rubber dampener inside, and that's breaking up, and it's got a bit of a wobble to it. So I thought, oh, that's all right, I'll just buy one of them, change it over, single bolt. But no, because that holds the crankshaft lower drive pulley as well, you basically have to do a cam belt on it. So I've bought all the cam belt stuff, new lower pulley, new auxiliary belt, new tensioner, new idler, and it's booked in for a clutch next week at Muddy Mods.
Oh, crikey. That's quite an investment in a car north of 220,000 miles. Although that when you know they'll do it.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with the engine, is it? It's just all the other bits.
No, it's just people. A car gets to that age and that mileage, and people stop investing in them, which is why there's so many around that have done that sort of mileage that aren't worth anything. But from what I've learnt with the grey one, which still drives really nice and tight, I'm gonna spend the money on the cam belt and doing the clutch and flywheel, and hopefully it will. If I get another 50, 70, 100,000 miles out of it, then it's very, very cheap motoring.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's the colour I like, the spec I like. Yes, I'd have preferred to have an auto over a manual, but it's more economical for it. I've got no reason not to do it, really. And if I'd have spent, bought one for £3,000 or £4,000, I'd probably still be doing the same work.
You may well need, absolutely, EGR coolers,
so
the usual.
So I don't feel bad about investing in it. I really like it still. It just, These things. Oh, it's got a head unit in it now, a radio, which is very, very good. I don't have to listen to my own thoughts every time I drive anywhere, which is just brilliant.
You don't want to do that too often.
Nah, definitely not. But it's all good. My
TD5 didn't start the other day.
Oh yes,
yes. We replaced the starter motor probably about, I don't know. I bet that's probably 2 years ago now.
Right,
because it kept not starting on the, you flip the key and there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easier and cheaper to, my local guy just got, it didn't start by 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it had a new starter motor fitted.
Yeah.
He got one from the local car parts place.
Right.
And it's just done it again.
Really?
So, but I've still kept the old starter motor, the original one.
Okay.
Which now I've just ordered, from Empire Tuning, actually. The starter motor repair.
Oh, the contact.
The contact.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, in case it does it again, it's only done it once, but, that casts that seed of doubt.
Yes.
Will this start? And I hate that. So I'm going to get that starter motor ready, which is a bit of a pig to do, they are.
Yeah, they're all right. It's just that one nut that goes from the front,
yes,
under the inlet manifold is a bit of a tricky.
Like loads of extension bars.
Yeah, a bit of fiddling around, but they're not awful. But I suspect that's the same issue with that Discovery that Ian and I went and rescued. It's just the contacts get all furred up or burnt out in the solenoid, and you can get a repair kit. What are they, £25?
I paid 18 something pounds through eBay, and Empire Tuning had it. So that arrives, I think, tomorrow.
Cool. So they're nice to do as well. They're not horrible to do.
Yeah, so I'll get that one ready. So worst case scenario is I swap the starter over.
Yeah.
If it does it again.
But it does. This is the thing about buying parts from like generic motor factors, like your local.
Yeah, it got me out of a mess then.
Yes.
Because that was no way of starting it. This time I just flicked the key like 5 or 6 times, and it kind of spurred into life.
Yeah. You never really know what you're getting brand-wise.
It was so cheap, I can imagine what I was getting.
Yeah.
And it begins with S and ends in T.
But it does highlight the importance, really, of especially if you're going, into remote areas or going on big trips with family, and the last thing you need is, a breakdown, is buying quality parts.
Yeah, now I wouldn't go on a long journey without taking the spare refurbished starter motor with me.
Yeah.
Because I know it's possibly going to do it again.
Although
may never do it again.
The one that you removed, I think they're Vallejo. Are they Vallejo? The OE starters?
I think it was the original one, yeah.
Yeah, so that would probably be absolutely fine now. You replace the contacts in it. It's probably going to be more reliable than the aftermarket one that you put on.
Yeah.
Of unknown origin from local motor factors. But yeah, it does go to show, doesn't it?
Well, I've been tripping over that old starter motor for like a couple of years at the end of the garage. For some reason, I've just left it there.
Yeah.
And now I'm glad, because now I've got a spare too.
I think if you've got the space and it's not, massive bulky stuff, it's the way forward, because you never know when you might need it.
That's why your yard and my yard starts to like an overspill of a spare spares day.
I'm getting better though. As I'm finishing things, space is freeing up, which is good, because I want to be able to put the Series 3 in the garage without the truck cab on for summer, because I love driving that with no roof on. Oh,
yeah, it is. It is a delight.
But it's all good. Oh, you bought a new angle grinder, I believe.
Yeah, unexpectedly, because my other one, when an angle grinder is about to let go, they either burst into flames.
You get the bearing noise.
I had a bit of bearing noise, and I was working it hard, cutting a bit of what was I cutting? Bit of cast fireplace thing the other day.
Oh, okay.
And it was like slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, speeding up. And it smelled very hot, very quickly. So I quickly turned it off, and I thought, do you know what? Right, inflation, everything's gone up. Right, angle grinders have not gone up. That one has lasted. That's done a lot of work, because I use it for some cutting out of mortar on my house.
Yes.
And I've worked that hard. I mean, properly
And
hard.
like you said before when we were talking about this, they suck in, it doesn't matter what you're cutting, they suck in their own dust.
Yeah, so I've used that with a 6mm diamond cut disc cutting mortar out of brickwork for hours and hours and hours. I mean, it was red hot. And it just carried on going. And there's so much dust then that I'm surprised it's lasted this long.
Yeah.
And it was 39 quid for a brand new, in the box, brand new angle grinder.
It is crazy, isn't it? I can remember the first angle grinder I ever bought. I was fixing the exhaust on something, and it was 30 quid from Tesco, and that was like a long time ago, probably best part of 20 years ago. And I've bought them since, and they've been cheap.
Yeah.
For what they are.
I think
they haven't got any more expensive.
No.
Maybe angle grinders, because I always, as people may have seen, I judge people's success on the number of angle grinders that they've got.
Well, I'm thinking about getting a second one, because last night was a classic case. I had to swap between jobs, between the extra thin cutting disc to a grinding disc.
Yeah.
And then I needed to swap back, because then I needed to take the thing out the vice, swap it round.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, why don't I have two?
Well, this is it, you see. When you get into such financial standings that you can afford to have an angle grinder for each disc, then you've reached the pinnacle of life, in my opinion. You can't go anywhere from there. People want like mansions and Lamborghinis.
I just want two angle grinders.
In my mind, if you've got an angle grinder for like a cut brush, a cutting disc, a grinding disc, a flat wheel, you are essentially you're up there. Yeah. You're up there.
I think I need one more. I think I need two angle grinders.
Well, let me tell you, machinemart.co.uk, their best seller, the Clark CAG 800B, which is an 800-watt angle grinder, £33.59, including that.
I've just bought a 750, so 800 is clearly better.
Well, more watts equals more power. And this thing's got 69 5-star reviews, so it's got to be good.
Yeah.
So actually,
33 quid.
33 quid for a 4.5-inch disc as well. So the most common size.
Yeah, yeah.
What is?
Oh, I thought I'd got a bargain.
Well, there you go. You should have checked Machine Mart, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I should have
picked up one of these bad boys. I can see why it's their bestseller. It looks a really good bit of kit, actually. Maybe I'll invest. Maybe I'll increase my social, go up a class with a new angle grinder.
Yeah, no, get on it.
But obviously, people will have heard on here about the addition of the green Freelander to my small fleet. But it got me thinking about the buying process, because I looked at a few different Land Rovers before I bought that.
Yeah.
How do you buy a Land Rover privately and not get ripped off?
Oh.
For me, and for a lot of people nowadays, the buying process starts on the internet. Most people search for Land Rovers to buy on the internet, don't they? So you've got eBay, you've got Auto Trader, you've got Gumtree. Do people still use Gumtree? I haven't been
Not really. Gumtree, I remember, now this is a bit of a sweeping statement, but I remember it being full of scam adverts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether... I mean, I remember the days of buying Land Rovers out of the diamond free ads. So the yellow newspaper, you have to wait till
Thursday.
Yeah. And they exchange them marked.
Yeah. Oh, God, I remember them now.
And you could... The diamond free ads, it was a case of a race to the newsagents to then get it, and it'd often be parts in there or...
Okay.
No photos, just a listing.
Really?
Yeah, just a listing. And that was the way of communicating back in the dark ages.
I suppose it was, I remember actually, it was a real, Thursday was like car dealer heaven, wasn't it? Because people would go mad.
It was. I think Auto Trader came out on a Thursday.
Picking up stock.
Exchange and Mark came out. They were all competing in the same.
Do
you know, for me, buying privately, you know, when you look on Facebook Marketplace,
yes,
I think we've said this on
I know it all too well.
Yeah, so Facebook Marketplace is, if you see something for sale and you think, that's interesting, you click on it. Also go on their other listings.
Yes.
Because that highlights then, if they've got a history of selling cars around, let's say, 3,000 quid, and there's loads of cars, they're a sort of a dealer that's masked as a private seller.
Yes, indeed.
And I'd be a little bit reluctant to...
The first thing, red flags on Marketplace. If you see something that looks fantastic and it seems like either too cheap or a really good deal, click on the seller, and if they've got lots and lots of other vehicles listed at what seems like too good a price to be true, guess what? They're probably a scammer. And they'll go, I've had loads of interest in this. If you send me a deposit, I'll hold it for you, and then you'll never see them again. And also, check when they joined Facebook. It's one of the easiest things you can do. Click on the seller's profile and it will say, joined Facebook in March 2026. And then you'll go, I'm not buying anything from you. Because
they've had a profile, they keep changing a profile. Yeah.
Keep adding new ones or changing them because they get reported and get deleted. Check if they've got more than one car for sale. That's not necessarily a red flag, but if you check the different listings and they're all photographed in different places, that rings alarm bells.
Yes, yeah. But also, I like to see a mix of things, because you can see the things that have had sold. So it looks like someone's had a garage clear out and they're selling an old project, but they're selling an old trailer, or they've got
if it's
kids' trampoline. All of a sudden it's looks very genuine.
Yeah, if it's stuff that sort of paints a picture of who they are, and it seems kind of plausible that they would genuinely be selling that stuff, then that's phone number as well is a good one. If they've got a phone number and they're willing to talk to you on the phone rather than send messages on Facebook, which obviously you can get blocked on easily, or even WhatsApp, if they're willing to talk to you, you can tell a lot by a person by how they are on the phone.
Yeah, so I sold fairly recently a motorbike, and I listed it on Facebook Marketplace,
right,
and eBay,
right.
And the chap that contacted me through eBay.
Okay.
Said, yeah, sounds like the kind of thing I want. Basically, he said, I live, I don't know, hour and 45 minutes away.
Right.
Checked me out. Thought, yeah, you sound genuine, which it was a genuine sale, and decided, yeah, I'm buying it. Next day, which was a day before he was due to come to collect the bike,
yeah,
had seen it on Facebook.
Right.
then started to doubt whether I was genuine or not.
Oh, really? Because you listed it in more than one place?
Because it was on... No, well, this is it. So he did what you've just said. He then checked out. So you know where we film on YouTube?
Yeah.
Sometimes we go down the Fen Road. I taken pictures of the bike down the Fen Road, blue sky and everything else. He saw another bike that was on another Fen Road, quite close to here, that was also for sale, and thought I was masked as a dealer.
Oh.
Because he said, so he contacted me, is this your bike for sale? I said, no, it's not my bike, the other one. And he said, well, it's on the same road. I said, well, no, it's not. All the roads around here, the Fen roads look like that.
Yeah. Guess
Ploughed field inside.
It's a straight road.
He said, yeah, but are you a bike dealer? I said, no. A genuine sale. And so he started to delve into my profile, behind the scenes, to work out if I was genuine or not. So then he rang me back to check, and he was really sceptical.
Really?
Yeah, he bought the bike when he came up.
Yeah,
but he said to me face to face, I almost pulled out the deal because I thought you were a dealer.
Yeah, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because if
he's obviously been stung before, perhaps.
Well, potentially.
Finding the right parts for your Land Rover or Range Rover shouldn't be an off-road challenge. At bmh4x4.com, we've built a smarter way to get you back on track. Our new website is now live, the simple, fast and reliable way to find the parts and accessories you need. Supplying quality parts for Defender 1983 to 2016, Discovery 1, 2, 3 and 4, Range Rover Sport 2005 to 2013 with Range Rover P38A and L322 coming soon. All parts are backed by expert knowledge, quick delivery and a 2-year quality guarantee. Visit bmh4x4.com, built by enthusiasts for enthusiasts.
I mean...
not saying buying it from a dealer was a bad thing.
No, but if they're posing as a private seller to either avoid putting it through the books or sell something without a warranty, then that does potentially not bode well. One of the vehicles I looked at, which someone else who we work with also looked at.
Oh, yeah, because a chap that works in the exhibition department contacted me and said, would you buy this? And I went, no.
So I went and looked at this because I was on the way to go camping and it was sort of on the way. And I'd seen this. It was a silver Range Rover Sport. Completely standard, 19-inch wheels, clear glass, it was silver. And I thought, do you know what? That actually looks quite classy. So did a bit of background. Obviously, we've got the luxury of having MOT checker. You can check the MOT history of any vehicle that you've got the reg of online, which is an enormous bonus, because it gives you a real clear picture of how well the car's been looked after, if advisories have been sorted out, things like that. Yeah, the history was patchy on the MOT history thing, but I thought, I'll go and have a look anyway. It's on the way. So one of the things that it had failed on the previous, or not even the previous year, it was this year, was rust on the sills. And then it had got a clean pass. So I thought, okay, maybe
freshly welded.
Maybe perhaps. It's been welded. Maybe they've sorted it out. And I got there and I looked around it, and let's just say the photographs had made it look flatter. They'd flattered it.
Well, pictures often do, don't they?
Yeah,
you've got to be careful.
It was on an industrial estate. It was outside a car dealer, so I think they were probably selling it privately, as we've just said, because they just want a shot of it, and they don't want the hassle of warranting it or anything like that. So I looked round it and it had a lot of marks. The interior was pretty clean, to be fair, that I could see through the windows. And I was like, oh, yeah, the rust. So got down on the ground, I looked up, and it had side steps on it. And side steps are notorious rot traps because all the leaves and muck get stuck in them. It holds it against the sills and they just dissolve. So, yeah, looked underneath it and it was hanging. Wax oil was just hanging off it. It had clearly been coated very, very recently in thick black, like gunk, basically. And I took some gloves with me and I poked it, and literally chunks of the sill were falling off all the way along.
Well, So that same, I'd been asked by our colleague then about it.
Yeah.
What do you think to this? And I immediately I looked at it and said no, and I didn't even know you'd been to see it. But they also went and pulled chunks out of it.
Oh right.
So he took somebody that knew about them and said walk away.
It was.
There couldn't have been much left if two people that we, you and somebody else that we know had obviously been and poked around.
I was honestly shocked at how
the audacity of somebody to sell something so bad.
Right, so on an MOT, you can't disturb coat. It always, I say you can't. Back when I had my MOT training years and years ago, you can't disturb a coating on a surface. So that's how some people get away with bodging up stuff, and they just lather it in rust proofer, and then the MOT tester can't disturb the coating. But it was obvious. I mean, you could see holes, and as soon as you touched it, this flaky metal and lumps of wax, would just drop on the ground. And I was laughing to my mate, and I said, "This is just." And the seller turned up, and I said, "Mate, this shouldn't be on the road. It obviously had a dodgy MOT on it." I went round to the rear cross member, which was also heavily delaminating, and where they have a removable tow bar, it had obviously had a tow bar in it for a long, long time, and something had happened. They'd cut the tow bar off flush with the cross member, so it still had like a nubbin of tow bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It would have, and I thought I dreaded to think who was going to get stitched up with that car, because someone who might not have looked underneath and gone, "Oh, it's got a clean MOT on it."
You would jump to conclusions. You would think that was genuine. You should do if you got the registration number, you can go on Car Tax Checker and see when the logbook last changed.
Yeah, some poor soul might have ended up with that, but it was eye opening.
There are some horrors out there.
Yeah. So and that was, they hadn't tried hard at all. I mean, to be fair, we turned up before the seller got there, so he didn't have time to move the car or anything like that to make it look less obvious that it was probably a trade sale. It was outside of a car dealer. It was a bad vibe off the seller as well. You can often pick up when people are genuine. Like, for instance, the chaps I bought the green Freelander off, they said they were totally open and honest about it. They said, "We've had it as a trade-in. The clutch is high. Someone's taken the radio out of it. It's got most of the service history. We're selling it because we don't want to retail it. We don't want to put the work into to bring it back up to our standard. That's why it's cheap. Take it or leave it." It couldn't be more fair than that, really. And if this guy had said it's failed MOT on rust, it will want the sills doing, it doesn't have an MOT, you'd go, "Do you know what? I can. If you were so inclined, you could probably have it back on the road in a weekend." But he wasn't. The fact that he was trying to cover up the fact that he'd lagged under seal underneath it, and it was a rotten heap that shouldn't be on the road, is really bad.
There's so many people that ask me advice on buying cheap Land Rovers. They see one and they've never owned one before, and they say, "Oh, it's only £3,000 or £2,000." I think, but it's not though. It's much, much more than that. You need a much bigger budget for, say, a Range Rover Sport for that kind of level. How much was that one? It
was up for £2,000.
Yeah, so it's really at the very lower end of anything.
But it should have been up for about £800.
Yeah,
given
you see quite a few £800.
You do. And if you've got the inclination and the skill, and you don't mind spending a bit on parts, they can still be a viable project that can go back on the road and give more years of service. But you've got to know what you're getting into. I think one of the biggest things for me is, if you're looking to get into Land Rovers, you're looking to buy a Land Rover, and I know we bleat about it all the time in the mag, take someone with you who knows what they're looking at.
Yeah, don't let your first experience of Land Rover ownership be a horrible one.
Definitely.
Because it doesn't have to be that way.
Definitely.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Honing in specifically on Defenders and Series, I think since COVID, when prices went through the roof, there's been quite a few instances of shiny paint, nice wheels, but absolutely hanging underneath, because people who, and I don't blame anyone for it because it's easily done, but people who are, really keen to buy a Series or a Defender and get into the Land Rover scene, if you like, they see, like Keswick green and new shiny alloys and tyre black on the and they go, "Oh, it's lovely, it's great."
It's what they imagined.
But when they start dealing with the reality of what they've actually bought, which is someone's tarted it up to sell it, it can really leave a bitter taste in the mouth if you don't go with your eyes open and you don't go with someone who knows what to look for.
It's like underestimating like the cost now of going to any. So if you can't do the work yourself, the cost of going to an independent now is probably approaching nearly £100 an hour, isn't it?
Hourly rates, yeah.
Yeah.
Really
so,
good.
say doing the steering swivels, it's a big ass job, isn't it, for somebody to do?
Yeah.
But the cost of doing so is significant.
It would be.
Or a clutch.
Yeah.
Or discs and pads, really.
It all depends on how far you're willing to try and do stuff yourself. I would say if you're doing safety critical stuff, you absolutely need to be overseen by, ideally, a qualified mechanic.
Yeah.
Because you're potentially dealing with your own safety and the safety of other people. So whilst they are brilliant and lovely and, they are very DIY friendly, as we also say in the mag, in the tech section every single month, only do what you're capable and competent enough to do.
Yeah.
Because it can soon go very wrong if you forget something or leave something loose. That's one of the massive pressures, really, of being a professional mechanic, technician, whatever. That's people say, you just plug cars in and swing spanners all day. You're dealing with people's lives.
Yeah.
And hats off to everyone who does it. It's a proper serious job, and it can end. You can really make a mess of your own life if you're not careful.
I had a conversation about health and safety yesterday with a scaffolder, right?
Oh, right.
So I just had talk about the angle grinder earlier and the brickwork. So I've got scaffolding up at my house.
Yes.
And it went up yesterday.
This is the same reason why your previous angle grinder died, isn't it?
So I'm going to let somebody else's grinder die now because they're going to finish the rest of it. I don't have time to do it.
Sure.
It's a long process. Anyway, to cut a long story short, scaffolding went up yesterday and it took like 3 hours and there was 2 of them working.
Right.
And he's the health and safety aspect of that. So it's like he was saying about the fines, and it's unlimited fines now. If somebody walked on his scaffolding that he put up, he could go to prison now. It's not even like, oh, well, you shouldn't have gone up. He said, and the power lines and things like that.
Yeah.
The health and safety and what the risks imposed on him as his career could be over.
That's
instant prison, unlimited fines.
Yeah, so
it's the same. I'm sure it's the same for mechanics, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. So we're not trying to scare anyone. And if you want to tinker with, that's the whole, part of the joy of having Land Rovers. But if you're not sure, ask for help or do take it to a garage. It's going to be expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that expensive.
Not really.
Yeah. Going back to buying though. So
yeah,
if something is, if it passes all the checks up to a point and you think, right, I'm really interested in this Land Rover. The guy or girl who's selling it seems genuine and I want to go and look at it. And then they say, yeah, well, I have had a lot of interest. Do you mind sending a deposit? That's when you start. That's the real tipping point for me. Is if they ask for bank, you say, yeah, all right, okay, I'll send you 50, 100 quid or whatever to hold everyone else off while I get to you and have a look at it. If they say, yeah, I want bank transfer or like PayPal, friends and family, that's instant no. Because that is not chargeable back.
You should never, ever hand any money over.
No. The only instance I would potentially do that is if they agree to do PayPal goods or services, because if for whatever reason there's a problem, you can claim that money back.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, but not if you do friends and family. So goods and services, you will incur a small fee, which is basically the protection of what PayPal offer. So if you send someone 50 quid, they might say, can you send me 55 to cover the fees? And you'll go, yeah, all right then. If you turn up to the address that they've given you and it's like an empty unit on an industrial estate and there is no Land Rover, you can then do a refund process through PayPal and get your money back.
I know somebody that has been scammed by buying a caravan.
Oh, really?
From it was, again, Facebook Marketplace, cheaper than it should have been. And they turned up having bought the caravan over the phone for £3,500.
Really?
Yeah.
They paid the full price over the...
Because it was cheap. It was cheap, but they were keen and it seemed brilliant. When they turned up, they bumped into some more people at the same address. An old boy lived at this bungalow and said, "Oh, what's gone on?"
You're joking.
Like a random address, and some more. They bumped into some more people that had also bought apparently the same caravan. And the old boy said, "It's nothing to do with me. They've used this chap's address."
Oh, and they'd all paid over the phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's like worst.
So that scammer had got like £7,000.
That's awful.
From two people.
That is
that, but it happens. You've got to be so careful.
This is it, really. This is why I wanted to do this topic, because I think it was the Range Rover Sport that I viewed that really put this into my mind. You know,
just because it has an MOT doesn't mean it's good.
We're lucky in that we've been around Land Rovers a long time. We can sort of pick out things that aren't quite right, but there'll be a lot of people that are just starting out who potentially won't see or aren't au fait with Marketplace and things like that. What I would say, actually, shameless plug, LandRoverMonthly.co.uk, our dedicated marketplace on there, is probably safer than most other places because we have to individually vet every single advert that goes on there. You can't just make an advert and upload it straight away. We have to approve it our end before that ad goes live.
Yeah.
So if we see any dodgy ones, and we do get the occasional one.
Oh yeah, they do. They come out and think that doesn't sound right. So I've rung a couple of them up.
Yeah.
One was dodgy.
Yeah.
And one was genuine.
Right.
So I would say this, just ringing up, but the car you got for sale. And then they say, if they say which one, which car, they go, oh, what, the Land Rover 90? Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
You've uploaded an advert. Yep, that's right. And da-da-da-da-da. And how much do you want for it? And then they'll tell me what they've put.
Yeah.
Not, I don't know. Do you see what I mean? Like how much so I'll tell you who I am. And it's just, I'm not saying that, you've still got to do your due diligence on each and every single car. Definitely. We haven't seen them all, but we do tend to check.
It's also important to raise now that it isn't just when you're buying a Land Rover that you need to be careful of scammers, because when you're selling one, you get the old classic, oh, I'm really interested in your vehicle, but I would need I will arrange transportation to take it to the dock. If I send you X amount of money, can you send me X amount back? And they're all scams. If it sounds dodgy, if it sounds wrong, if it isn't, I'm going to come and view your Land Rover in person and we'll have a deal. We'll talk about the price. We'll go for a drive, whatever. Don't entertain it. And if someone turns up to view your vehicle with a car full of people, don't answer the door to them.
Here's a question.
Go on.
So you turn up to view a car.
Yeah.
And you want to test drive it.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure you're insured.
Yes, you have. Ideally, you would ring your insurer and give them the registration and get like a temporary addition to your policy.
Yeah.
To allow you to drive that vehicle fully comprehensive, because a lot of policies, including mine, to be fair, I can drive other cars, but I'll only be third party. So if I were to crash that person's Defender into a ditch and write it off, my insurance wouldn't pay that. My insurance wouldn't pay out.
Yeah, so where would you be then if that happened on a test drive and it was your fault?
Yeah.
You were driving somebody else's car?
Well, I suppose...
Just get in your car and say, oh, sorry, I don't want it.
I don't know, really.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one, actually.
There would be a conversation had, I'm sure. I've actually sold 2 cars, not Land Rovers, in the past years ago, and both of them got crashed on test drive. And you know the funniest thing is, it was the same person that bought both, and they both got crashed on the test drive.
Oh God!
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah,
you've got to be really, really careful.
If in doubt, ring your insurer, get a cover note, and
people think, oh, man, you're going around the block.
Yeah, but going around the blocks when you
in a car that you're not familiar with, in an area that you're not familiar with.
From snorkels and roof racks to engine swaps and body kits, there are loads of modifications you can make to your Land Rover. If you're struggling to get insurance on your modded Landy, speak to specialist insurance broker Adrian Flux. With like-for-like cover on both cosmetic and performance upgrades, they'll help keep your pride and joy protected. Call them directly on 0344 728 0417 for a quote.
When I bought my first 90, I bought it off a farmer in a few villages away. Obviously, I was only 16 at the time, so I couldn't have driven it on the road if I wanted to. But there was loads of private land where I could drive it and make sure I was happy with it. That's an ideal scenario. Even just going out with the seller, though, to be fair, if you're in the passenger seat and they're driving, you could ask them, can we go over a bumpy road so I can listen to the suspension? Can you do a full throttle pull in third gear or fourth gear to make sure there's no hesitation? You can ask them, and if they're happy to oblige, then you can be pretty sure that they're being genuine. If they don't want to go too far, or they don't want to... The classic one is you turn up to view a vehicle and the engine's red hot because someone started it from cold.
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, they're having their breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from the shop. Yeah, right, okay. It's got a horrendous starting problem, or there's another reason why they didn't want you to view it. Maybe one of the levels is wrong, when it's cold or whatever.
For me, it's always been looking at the seller and asking them a direct question, but look them in the eye. I know
really?
Yeah, I know it sounds... Because a lot of people will disclose a small fault.
Yes.
To mask a bigger fault. So to portray the fact that they're being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
This is where you and I differ, probably, because I can't read people very well, whereas you really can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Over the years, I've bought Land Rovers I wish I hadn't. From people I wish, and I absolutely now, without fail, follow my gut instinct.
Yeah.
If my gut goes, I'm not sure, even if I'm getting on with the person really well, if my gut is telling me, I won't buy the car.
Okay.
And for me, it's all about the way the person presents the paperwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really... some people would say, oh, you're quite judgmental, but I'm not. At the end of the day, it's your hard-earned cash.
It is a lot of money a lot of the time, isn't it?
LRM and the powers that be don't fund our Land Rovers. We fund them with our own wages, just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
And
I wish they did. That'd be good.
Yeah, I know. Can we please have a Land Rover? Like a company one, it'd be nice. And it's the way they present the paperwork. If someone says, here's all the paperwork, all in date order, perfect.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like, it's all neat. And you think, right, that person really loves that car. Because there's all this beautiful, it tells a story, doesn't it?
True.
And then, I'd rather look at the paperwork before looking at the car.
Okay. Because then you're not wasting your time straight away.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. And I've done my due diligence before. I've read the MOT history. That's the key.
That is one of the things, obviously, nowadays, which is it's all at your fingertips. You can buy like My Car Check and Car Vertical and all that stuff, and they're brilliant for putting one big overall view of the car, and they'll tell you if it's been written off. They'll tell you if it's got outstanding finance on it, which is important on newer stuff.
Even on older stuff, you can get some finance. Yeah, you've got to be careful.
A lot of people buy newer Defenders on finance, original shape Defenders, because they hold their money. The option is they're out for, banks will loan on them.
Yeah.
So, without sounding like an advert.
You sound like a YouTuber now.
Do you think?
It's sponsored by Car Vertical.
Yeah, you check to Car Vertical. Use hashtag blah, blah, blah.
Clearly, if you are Car Vertical, listen to this, get in touch.
Yeah, nah, I don't think they listen. Anyway, but no, I mean, for free stuff, as you said, you don't, I forget the code of the thing, but there used to be a part on the government website where you could get a lot of information about the previous owner, whereas now you do a vehicle inquiry check, which will tell you when the logbook was last changed, as you said earlier.
Yes.
Which is great, because if the person you're buying from has only had the car 2 months, you've got to question why they're getting rid of it.
But I think I'm right in saying this, the logbook, if they've moved house,
yes,
they might have owned the car 5 years, but if they moved it in the last year, the logbook does show a change in the last 1 year.
Yes, but you could ask them.
Yeah, you could.
And MOT history check is the big one for me. If you can see, most Land Rovers will have failed MOTs over their time. That is fine. It is what it is. But if the same advisories are coming, but not advisories, they're called defects now. If the same defects are coming back year after year, the owner has not put right what they've been told needs to happen on their vehicle. If 1 year it's got lots and lots of defects, major and minor defects, a whole shopping list of them, and then much like that grey silver Range Rover Sport I viewed, if it then goes through an MOT with none at all, you've got to question.
And the mileage hasn't changed.
Yeah, the validity. Someone's either picked the phone up or got a PayPal MOT or gone, stuffed the tester a few pictures of the Queen, and it's gone straight through with no defects. That's dodgy, and the seller's probably dodgy.
So here's like full stalker mode now, right?
Go on.
So you can go on Google Street View.
Okay.
Right, and at the bottom of the Street View, it will show you, because they've not just in a lot of areas now, they haven't just been along there once.
Right.
Like my house.
Yeah.
There's like 3 lots of Google Street View, so you can see what the house looked like in 2001, 2005, and fairly recently.
Yeah.
So you can see. And sometimes you can see the same cars on the same driveways. So that builds a bit of a picture.
Good idea. Hadn't thought of that.
But also, bit stalkerish again. So if there was a discrepancy in the logbook change, and they've said they've had it this long, but they've moved or whatever, and you know the address that you're going to look at that car, put that address into Rightmove.
Into Rightmove?
Yeah, this is full stalker mode. If you're in doubt...
Steve, I don't feel like I know you at all.
Yeah. So Rightmove, sold house prices, right? This is like... And it will show you the date, like, that house.
Yeah.
When they obviously moved, and when the transaction went through. So if they have only just moved a year ago, it will show on there.
Crikey.
You can't, that's like proper, if you're in
Detective Inspector Miller.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Social media tells you a lot. You can even put the registration number of the vehicle into Google Images.
Yeah, and see what it's...
So my Jag that I sold, typing in the Google Images of that, comes up with previous... The guy who I bought from a car specialist in Bedford.
Right.
And it's on there. There's even a small YouTube video of the walk around. Yeah.
Wow.
So I could see the car.
Oh.
Then, there's a lot of information out there.
The chap who bought my wife's Leon said, you wouldn't believe it. He was researching because it had the top of the line sound system in it, and he was researching it. And he found a video of my wife's car before we owned it, of the dealer doing a walk around of it.
Yeah, that's the same for the Jag. The stuff's out there.
Yeah.
Put the registration into Google Images.
Funnily enough, another car I owned a few years ago that I bought cheap off a chap in town. It was like spares or repairs, and I did it up and sold it. I Googled the reg of that, and it went to the lad's TikTok, and there was videos of him doing like 130 miles an hour down country lanes in this car.
Oh, really?
I bought off him. I was like, that adds up.
But
it wasn't a Land Rover, obviously.
I found... an old Russian truck that my granddad had thrown.
Right.
A logging truck, because I was obsessed with it as a kid.
As you would.
A UAZ.
Nice.
But they were brought in the early 80s into the UK. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I was trying to find that. I've been trying to find it for years, but I have since found it.
Really?
And it's over in Wiltshire somewhere. And that put in the registration. When I finally found the registration number of it, found it on TikTok of a video of him getting it running and driving it around his yard.
So cool.
He owns 2 or 3 of them.
Oh,
proper like Russian UAZ collector.
We should go and visit it.
I'd love to, because I have a lot of fond memories of this thing.
I bet.
But It just shows like
the internet is
the internet. You can't. It's not stalking people, but it's finding the information out,
using the tools that are readily available to you for free.
Loads of things.
Yeah, that's a really the right move thing. I never would have thought of that. Fair play.
I mean, that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all reassurance.
It
takes you seconds, and the peace of mind it will give you. Like you said, nothing's cheap nowadays. If you can save yourself the hassle and the heartache of not losing your shirt on a Land Rover that you shouldn't have bought, for crying out loud, do it. And if that means spending an extra 10 minutes at your computer, go for it.
I think so. But it depends, if I was buying something at a lower level, then I wouldn't really do the same amount of digging around.
Well, no, this is...
But if I'm spending decent money, then I would definitely dig further.
There you go. Any other sage advice to add to not getting ripped off when buying? Because we've covered mostly buying on the internet. I mean, buying at auctions and buying,
auctions these days. We are going to have a guest on soon, actually, from Iconic Auctions.
Yes.
May or may not have told you that.
Yeah.
We will. And, the process of buying and selling at auction, we'll delve into that.
I was going to say, we're probably running out of time a little bit on this one, but we'll go into some of the results from Anglia Classic Auction, which has just happened this weekend. Some very surprising results.
Positive or negative?
A bit of both, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certain things are just not hit in the market at the moment.
Certain things aren't making a lot, and certain things are going for probably more than they should.
But fashions change, don't they? And people, people, move,
Definitely. No, it is interesting. There's a series that went through there that didn't even make £1,000. So
that must have been rough.
I'll have a look. We'll go through that another day.
Okay.
But yeah, before we go, let's do feature of the week.
Is this in like the new issue that's going to be out? No, it's not out yet.
No, it's not out. This is the issue that's on sale now.
Okay.
The May issue. Very, very cool Defender, actually, in the May issue. It's a Defender, what was a 130, which has been extended to a 140-inch wheelbase, which has allowed fitment of a 110 high-capacity rear tub.
Right, yeah.
So the 130, much like the 90 pickup, is a great thing, and the 110 double cab, I must say. The tub does leave a little bit to be desired. So when you've
not got a lot of the space left of you.
A lot of heavy, big items. So these chaps who are over in Portugal, I believe, the Rule Brothers, who own an off-road workshop, they've taken a 130 and they've stretched the wheelbase rather nicely to 140, which has allowed them to fit the... they're near Belgium. I don't know why I said Portugal. They're in Belgium. They have fitted a 110 high-capacity rear tub, which is obviously longer because it's from a single cab onto this stretched wheelbase 130. And it's a really, really cool thing. It's also got a Ford diesel V8 in it, which is pretty cool.
A Ford diesel V8?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mountains of torque with that bad boy. It's a really, really smart thing there. You can see the size of the tub.
Yeah, that's a really useful truck.
So they obviously use it for their business, moving around wheels, tyres, and lots of other off-road related goodies. It's got front and rear Salisbury axles on it. It's really, really cool. So check that out in the May issue of Land Rover Monthly, which is on sale as we speak. So, be able to check that bad boy out. Do you want a product as well?
Well, you've said it now. Yes.
Product of the week. This week's product of the week is from our friends at YRM, and they are galvanised radiator brackets. We've got a bit of fun and games coming up with your radiator brackets on your 90, haven't we?
We did have a quick look, didn't we? We need to make some changes.
We need to buy TDI.
Well, welding the studs on the bottom of the radiator frame straight and in the right place wouldn't go amiss.
That would be a good start. So we'll do that. But yeah, you need TDI ones because the rad pack sits a bit higher. But anyway, I digress. YRM are doing galvanised TD5 and TDCI radiator mounting brackets for both, obviously, the left and the right hand side to hold your radiator in on your Defender. The standard brackets are obviously mild steel and they are powder coated, and the powder coat falls off and they look hideous. So YRM now offer them in galv. So, and £60 per side. If you're doing work at the front of your Land Rover, it's all future proofing, isn't it, these days?
No, definitely galvanising, and then putting a barrier between only steel and aluminium, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. So YRM also do their foam gasket, which you can buy on a roll, or you can buy pre-cut gaskets to fit. Keep the metals apart, stop the electrolysis, stop the corrosion. Your Land Rover will last longer. What's not to like?
That definitely needs doing.
There you go. So,
and on that note, we're done.
I think so.
Yeah.
One last reminder. Don't forget to come to Ripon Auto Jumble this Sunday. We would love to see you there. There's going to be a lot of buying, a lot of selling. There's already more traders booked in than last time.
Yeah. And it's almost a positive that it was postponed.
Well, the weather's going to be better, isn't it? So
more daylight.
So, yeah, by all means, come along. We would love to see you there, whether you're buying, selling, standing around drinking tea, as I hope to be. And
you'll be on the car park.
I will be. Early in the morning. I'll be waving frantically at people wearing orange. So, yeah. What else? Follow us on Instagram if you want. You're
Steve Miller Automotive.
And I'm Land Rover Martin. Obviously, follow Land Rover Monthly on Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. More stuff coming to there very soon. And sign up for the email newsletter where you'll get all the very latest information about events that are on, vehicles that are for sale, accessories, and all the new products that you could ever want, and tons. And of course, you get a preview at the latest issue. So head to the website, landrovermonthly.co.uk, click newsletter, and sign up.
And all that is totally free.
Totally free. We're good to you, aren't we?
Too good.
Anyway, LRM Live in a month. It's only 4 weeks away. Book your tickets now, because if you don't and you want to pay on the gate, it's going to be more expensive.
Save money.
Definitely. Yes. It's going to be an amazing weekend. I cannot wait.
No, neither can I. And on that note, let's go and sort some more arrangements.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Right. Yeah. Thank you ever so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.